The U.S. housing market has been suffering through a lengthy downturn, but signs are beginning to indicate that the beleaguered sector is finally on the road to recovery. Now, billionaire investor Warren Buffett told CNBC that good news seemed to be in the air toward the end of last month. He added that comebacks by industries which directly benefit from a strong real estate market, such as carpet making and bricklaying, will also push the American economy forward. The finance guru announced a 10 to 15% increase in sales at Clayton Homes, a manufacturer realty firm he controls, and noted that median prices were also ticking up. The Oracle of Omaha claimed that even if things are only inching along, the country is showing what he calls the steadiest trajectory in the world. He also reiterated the belief that unemployment will not decrease until the property sector improves, which is the opposite of analysts who think that those two things must happen in reverse. Now, many commenters on Weibo say it's about time this industry started picking up some steam. And here's what they had to say.
I just wonder whether such a recovery can last or not. Of course, this is a good sign, but I'm worried that such a situation can only last for a short time, and later the situation will get worse.
Now, last week, the National Association of Realtors revealed that purchases of previously owned houses and condos rose an annualized rate of 4.79 million units in October. Now, while those figures don't represent a big change from the previous 2 months, the inventory of available real estate has been falling since April. Now, this is the lowest quantity since February of 2006, long before the bubble burst. The resulting squeeze has also sent the cost of a home 11% higher in just the last year. But some ask how long this game will last, and here's what they had to say.
It seems that Buffett is always good at making predictions. So can he tell us when China's housing market will also have a recovery? I think the Americans might need to thank the Chinese people, since many of them have bought houses in the U.S. Of course, this recovery should partly be attributed to rich Chinese buyers.
Paul Diggle, an analyst at Capital Economics in London, wrote in his most recent report that the boost in realty sales is being driven by a favorable amount of valuations and affordability in the current property market. Now, he concluded that supply conditions in the existing sector are even tighter than previously thought. One contributing factor to the change in fortunes may be a larger number of Chinese speculators using their money to buy housing in the U.S. The Financial Times reported in June that the dozen months leading up to March of 2012 saw the volume of these transactions soar to $9 billion. Now, that total is 23% more than the $7.3 billion changing hands from 2010 through 2011, as well as a whopping 88% greater than the $4.8 billion put in play from 2009 through 2010. The NAR's managing director, Jed Smith, stated that clients from this part of the world are viewed as very desirable by American realtors. Now, although they represent just a fraction of the overall profits, their impact has been strong on the high end of the scale. Paula Liebman, chief executive of the Corcoran Group, said that there has been a huge influx of wealthy mainland shoppers looking for luxury real estate in New York since the start of this year. She called the development extraordinary, adding that the industry first began to notice their presence in early 2011 and suggesting they became more prevalent in 2012. Now, several respondents on social media like Weibo have been following this trend for quite a while, and here's what they had to add.
The Americans have started a recovery while we're still struggling in a bubble. Now the U.S. housing market is recovering, but what will happen to China's housing prices? Everything has its time. Since the crash of the U.S. housing market, it has been about 5 years, so I think it should be time for the U.S. to recover. I think because of Buffett's support, someone else will also feel confident about the U.S. housing market, and that will be helpful in the housing market's recovery.
The homes being snapped up by rich buyers from China range from a small apartment priced at $1 million to sprawling trophy properties costing as much as $20 million. Now, tour groups of prospective purchasers are even being organized by realty companies. The reasons for these sales vary widely. Now, some people are doing it because they want to immigrate, while others have children who plan to study overseas and want to be sure that they live somewhere nice. Now, another factor is the exchange rate, with the RMB continuing to rise faster against the US dollar as opposed to its counterparts in countries like Canada and Australia. Now, one consumer who asked the London newspaper not to be identified by name said it makes sense to buy in America, not only because the dwellings are comparatively cheaper, but also because they will have more ownership rights over the assets to purchase through their realtors. The EB-5 is an obscure program which grants a green card to any foreigner who invests at least $500,000 into a business that creates 10 or more jobs on U.S. soil. Now, officials say that they received a record 1,675 Chinese applications during the first quarter of this year. Now, there were just over 2,400 requests filed in all of 2011 and a mere 772 in 2010. An additional incentive is that places like America can also offer outright possession of the land, whereas the government retains full control in China and simply peddles leasing privileges for up to 70 years. Now, as one of the nation's primary economic pillars, the housing market is vital to the future of the U.S. And if further Chinese moves into the property sector can help in the ongoing rebound, most Americans will probably say, open the checkbook.